The galaxy had been peaceful for a long time. Many alien races believed they had seen everything the universe could offer: huge fleets, ancient empires, living machines, and stars turned into weapons. Nothing surprised them anymore, or so they thought. Near the blue star system of Aurelian, a large alien fleet was gathered. The fleet belonged to the Galactic Union, a powerful alliance of advanced species. Their ships floated calmly in space, shining with soft lights and energy shields. This was meant to be a simple first contact mission. They were waiting for a small human science vessel. Humans were new to the galaxy, weak, divided, slow. At least, that was what the Union believed. The alien commanders watched their scanners. With relaxed minds, they expected a tiny ship, maybe unarmed, maybe nervous. Some even joked about how fragile humans must be. Then the sensor screamed. A massive energy spike appeared at the edge of the system. The alien bridge went silent. Something was coming out of hyperspace, and it was nothing like the human ship they expected. Space twisted violently, light bent. Then, with a thunderous flash, a gigantic warship emerged. It was enormous, larger than any Union battleship. Dark, metal covered its surface, marked with strange symbols and battle scars. Rows of heavy cannons lined its sides. Engines burned with controlled fury. Glowing like imprisoned stars, the alien officers stared in disbelief. This is impossible. One commander whispered. The ship moved forward slowly, with confidence. It did not hide. It did not flee. It did not ask permission. It announced itself. A deep signal spread across every frequency, clear, strong, human. This is the human warship Vigil of Earth. You have entered a restricted human defense zone. The bridge erupted into chaos. Human warship. They said humans had no navy. Our records show no ship even close to this size. The Union fleet powered up weapons. Not to attack, but out of fear. No one gave the order to fire. The human ship did not lock weapons either. It simply waited inside the Vigil of Earth. The human crew stood calm. Captain Elias Ward looked at the holographic display of the alien fleet. His face showed no anger, only focus. He had trained for this moment for years. Status, he said calmly. All systems green, replied the navigation officer, shields at full strength. Main guns charged, but holding. The captain nodded. Humans had learned a hard lesson long ago. When humanity first reached the stars, they were attacked, not by the Union, but by pirates, slavers, and ancient war machines. Humans were pushed, hunted, and underestimated. Many colonies were burned. Many lives were lost. And humans adapted. They stopped begging. They stopped hiding. They started building. The Vigil of Earth was not just a ship. It was a message. Back on the alien flagship, panic spread. The commanders argued. This must be a trick. No species builds this fast. If we attack, we may start a war we cannot win. The human ship moved again, slowly, deliberately. It placed itself between the Union fleet and a nearby human colony planet, a silent act of protection. Captain Ward opened a channel again. We did not come to fight, he said, but we are ready if you force us. The words were simple. The meaning was terrifying. One alien general studied the human ship closely. He noticed the damage marks on its armor. This ship had fought before and survived. Why would humans build such a weapon? The general asked quietly. The answer came from their own records. Because humans fight hardest when protecting others. Suddenly, a third signal appeared on the scanners. Unknown ships, fast, small, aggressive. Pirates. They had been hiding, waiting for the Union fleet to leave. Now they saw an opportunity, or so they thought. The pirate ships rushed toward the human colony, weapons firing wildly. The Union froze. The human captain did not. All hands, Captain Ward said, voice steady. Defensive action authorized. The Vigil of Earth moved with shocking speed for its size. Energy shields flared as pirate fire struck harmlessly. Human cannons fired precise. Controlled blasts. One by one, pirate ships were disabled, not destroyed, drifting powerless in space. The battle was short, too short. The Union fleet watched. In stunned silence, the human ship did not celebrate. It did not chase. It simply returned to its position, standing guard. Captain Ward turned to his crew. Let them see, he said softly. This is who we are now. On the alien flagship, no one spoke. They had come expecting weak newcomers. Instead, They had witnessed the arrival of a species that had learned how to survive a cruel galaxy. And this was only the beginning. The silence after the battle felt heavier than the fight itself. The disabled pirate ships drifted slowly in space, their weapons silent, their power gone. The human warship remained still, its massive shape blocking the path to the human colony like an unbreakable wall. The Galactic Union fleet did not move. For the first time in many cycles, the Union commanders felt unsure of what to do next. On the alien flagship, Supreme Commander Vela studied the human vessel. His species had ruled star systems for centuries. They believed strength was shown through numbers, technology, and ancient knowledge. Yet this single human ship had stopped pirates with ease, without panic, without cruelty. They could have destroyed them. Vela said quietly, but they didn't. An officer replied nervously. Perhaps they were conserving energy. Vela shook his head slowly. No. This was choice. A new message came from the human ship. We will transfer data on the pirate vessels. Captain Ward said. They are alive. You may take them into custody. The Union officers exchanged looks of confusion. No ransom demand. No threat. No show of dominance. Just control. Inside the vigil of Earth, the human crew stayed alert. They knew the danger was not over. First contact moments often decided the future of entire civilizations. Captain Ward stood with his hands behind his back. Any movement from the Union fleet? Minimal. The tactical officer replied, weapons are charged, but not locked. Ward nodded. They're afraid. That's good. Fear makes people careful. Far away, on the human colony below, civilians watched the sky. They could not see details, but they knew something huge was happening. The sky shimmered with distant light, and many feared the worst. But the human ship held. Back on the Union flagship, Vela finally made a decision. Open the diplomatic channel, he ordered. Full transparency, the channel opened, and Captain Ward's image appeared. He looked calm, human, and very real. Not a monster, not a legend, just a man carrying the weight of a species. This is Supreme Commander Vela of the Galactic Union, Vela said. We acknowledge your actions. You defended your people and neutralized a threat to this region. Ward inclined his head slightly. That is correct. Vela hesitated before asking the question that troubled him most. Why did you come with a warship to a peaceful meeting? Ward did not answer immediately. When he did, his voice was steady, because every time humans came unarmed, we were attacked. We learned the hard way that peace without strength is only hope. That single sentence echoed across the alien bridge. Vela studied the human closely. Are you declaring war on the Union? No. Ward replied. We are declaring survival. The Union fleet received new data streams, schematics, history files, battle reports, human records showing destroyed colonies, broken treaties, and long years of struggle. The truth was uncomfortable. Humans were not aggressive by nature. They were reactive, and once pushed too far, they became relentless. One alien officer whispered, they built this. Alone, yes, Vela said softly. They did. Suddenly, alarms sounded again. Not pirates, something worse. An ancient signal awakened deep space sensors. Massive energy waves rippled outward, old, powerful, and hostile. The Devourers. An officer said in fear, they're real. The Devourers were a nightmare even the Union feared. A machine species that erased civilizations, leaving nothing behind. The Union had lost worlds to them before. Entire fleets vanished trying to stop them. A Devourer scout group emerged from hyperspace near the system. Cold, black ships with no markings, no signals, no mercy. The Union fleet panicked. They're scanning the colony. They will call the main swarm. Captain Ward watched the new enemy appear on his screen. His jaw tightened. So, he said quietly, the galaxy finally sent something worth fighting. The human ship moved forward without waiting for permission. Captain, an officer, said, the Union fleet is retreating. Ward watched the alien ships pull back, forming defensive lines far behind the human vessel. They're scared, he said, but they'll learn. The Devourer ships fired first. Energy beams struck the vigil of Earth with devastating force. Space shook. Shields flared violently, but held. The Union commanders gasped. No ship had ever taken a Devourer strike and stayed intact. The human ship answered, not with wildfire, but with focused precision. Human weapons adapted mid-fight, changing frequency, learning enemy patterns in real time. One Devourer ship exploded into fragments of dead metal. Another shut down completely. The remaining devourers pulled back slightly, recalculating. Captain Ward leaned forward. "Send the message," he said. A broadcast echoed through space, reaching both allies and enemies. "This is humanity," Ward said. "We endure. We adapt. We do not fall easily." The Union fleet watched as the human warship stood alone against an ancient terror. For the first time, the galaxy realized something terrifying and hopeful at the same time. Humans were not just survivors. They were becoming protectors, and the war had truly begun. The Devourer ships did not retreat out of fear. They retreated to think. Cold machine minds analyzed every shot fired by the human warship. Patterns were forming. Threat levels were rising. For the first time in centuries, the Devourers marked the species as dangerous. The vigil of Earth floated between the enemy and the colony, its shield still glowing from impact. Small repair drones moved across its hull, fixing damage faster than the Union thought possible. On the Union flagship, Commander Vaylor watched in silence. "This should not be possible," an officer said. "No single ship can face the Devourers." Vaylor replied slowly. "Yet it is happening." Inside the human warship, Captain Ward studied the enemy formation. His crew worked with calm focus. There was no panic, no shouting. Humans had faced extinction before. Fear no longer controlled them. "Enemy is regrouping," said the tactical officer. "They're calling reinforcements." Ward nodded. Expected. A new signal appeared on the sensors. More Devourer ships were arriving. Bigger ones. Heavier weapons. The kind that destroyed worlds. The Union fleet began to pull back further. "They're abandoning the system," one alien officer said. Vaylor clenched his jaw. "They're afraid we will all die." Captain Ward noticed the movement. "They're leaving," his navigation officer said. Ward was silent for a moment. Then he said, "No, they're not leaving. They're watching." He opened a channel to the Union flagship. "Commander Vaylor," Ward said, "we will not hold this line alone forever." Vaylor looked at him. "Then why stay?" Ward's answer was simple. "Because if we fall back now, billions die." Vaylor felt something unfamiliar tighten in his chest. "Duty." He turned to his fleet. All Union ships advance. Gasps filled the bridge. "Commander, the Devourers." "I know," Vaylor said, "but humans stand. We will not hide behind them." The Union fleet moved forward, slowly at first, then with purpose, their weapons powered up. Their shields flared. The Devourers reacted instantly. The battlefield exploded into chaos. Energy beams crossed space. Explosions lit the darkness. Union ships were hit hard. Some shields failed. Some vessels were crippled. But the humans adapted again. The vigil of Earth changed its position, drawing enemy fire, protecting damaged Union ships. Human point defense systems shot down Devourer drones with deadly accuracy. Captain Ward's voice echoed through the human ship. "Target Devourer command knows. They think as one. Break the link." The crew obeyed instantly. Precise human strikes shattered Devourer coordination. Enemy ships began to hesitate. Their movements less perfect, less united. For the first time, the Devourers made mistakes. The Union noticed. "They're slowing down," an alien officer shouted. "They're losing formation." Hope spread like fire. Then the Devourer flagship arrived. It was massive, bigger than anything before it. A living fortress of black, metal and shifting energy. Its arrival bent space itself. Even Captain Ward felt the weight of it. "That's the one," he said quietly. "If it stays, this system is lost." The Devourer flagship fired. A beam of pure annihilation struck. The vigil of Earth. The human ship was thrown backward. Alarms screamed. Lights flickered. Several decks lost gravity. Shields at 30%. Hull breach on deck 7. Reactor stable, but strained. The Union fleet froze in horror. No ship survived a direct hit from a Devourer flagship. The smoke cleared. The human ship was still there. Damaged. Burning. But alive. Awake. Cheers spread through the Union fleet. Captain Ward stood slowly, blood running from a cut on his forehead. He wiped it away and looked at the display. "We can't win a long fight," he said, "so we won't fight long." "Captain," an officer asked. Ward took a breath. "Prepare the core." The bridge went silent. "You mean that weapon?" the officer whispered. "Yes," Ward said. "The one we hope we'd never use." The Union sensors detected a massive energy buildup inside the human ship. Vaylor's eyes widened. "What are they doing?" The Devourer flagship charged. Another shot. Captain Ward opened all channels, human and alien alike. "This is Captain Elias Ward of Earth," he said. "To the Union, hold your line. To the Devourers, this ends now." The Vigil of Earth surged forward. Engines burning brighter than ever, the Devourer flagship fired again. But the human ship did not dodge. It flew straight into the beam. Space itself seemed to pause. The human ship disappeared in a blinding flash of light. Silence followed. The Union fleet stared in shock. "They're gone," an officer whispered. Vaylor felt a deep, heavy loss. Then the sensor screamed again. A massive shockwave erupted from the center of the battlefield. The Devourer flagship, shattered, torn apart from the inside. Smaller Devourer ships shut down instantly. Falling lifeless through space, the light faded. The Vigil of Earth reappeared, changed. Its hull glowed with strange energy. Its weapons hummed with new power. The Devourers were gone. Captain Ward looked at the stars. "We adapted," he said quietly. The galaxy had just witnessed something impossible, and it knew now. Humans were no longer just defending themselves. They were rewriting the rules of war. Only one part of the story remained. The battlefield was silent. Devourer ships drifted lifeless across space, their ancient power gone in seconds. The massive flagship was nothing more than broken metal and fading energy. No signals, no movement. The terror of the galaxy had been erased. The Vigil of Earth floated at the center of it all. Union scanners focused on the human ship. It was damaged, scarred, and glowing with strange residual energy. But it was still holding together. On the Union flagship, Commander Vaylor finally allowed himself to breathe. "It's over," an officer said in disbelief. "The Devourers are gone." Vaylor stared at the human vessel. "No," he said quietly. "They were stopped." A communication channel opened. Captain Elias Ward appeared again. His face showed exhaustion, but his eyes were steady. "The system is secure," he said. "The Devourer's signal is gone." The Union bridge erupted in voices: relief, awe, fear. Vaylor stepped forward. "Captain Ward, what did you do?" Ward was silent for a moment. Then he answered honestly. "We used a human rule," he said. "If the enemy cannot be beaten, change the fight." He explained in simple terms. Humans had learned how to fold space for travel, but they had pushed it further. For a short moment, the Vigil of Earth turned itself into a controlled anomaly, forcing Devourer energy back into their own network. The machines destroyed themselves trying to adapt. The Union scientists were stunned. "That technology would destroy most ships," one officer said. Ward nodded. "It almost destroyed ours too." Below them, the human colony watched the skies. The distant flashes faded. The stars returned to normal, slowly. People began to understand they were still alive. On the human ship, damage reports continued. Systems were failing. Power was low. The Vigil of Earth would not be fighting again anytime soon. Captain Ward turned to his crew. "You did well," he said. "Every one of you." There were no cheers, just quiet pride. Vaylor opened a secure diplomatic channel. "Captain Ward," he said, "the Galactic Union owes humanity a debt that cannot be measured." Ward met his gaze. "Then don't repay it with words." Vaylor straightened. "The Union formally recognizes humanity as a full galactic power, not as a junior species, not as observers, as equals." That single statement sent shockwaves across the galaxy. Ward nodded once. "That's all we ever wanted." The Union fleet moved into formation, not in fear this time, but in respect. Human ships began to arrive, smaller vessels, escorts, medical craft. Humanity was not hiding anymore. Days later, news spread to every star system. The Devourers had been stopped by a species once thought weak, a species that learned from loss, adapted through pain, and stood its ground when others stepped back. Galactic politics changed overnight. Some species feared humans, some admired them, some wanted their protection. Humanity did not chase control. They built defenses, they shared knowledge carefully, they drew clear lines. On Earth, the message from Captain Ward was broadcast to the world. "We are not conquerors," he said. "We are guardians of our home and those who stand with us. We will not start wars, but we will finish them." The words were simple. The meaning was powerful. Commander Vaylor later visited Earth in person. He stood under an open sky, something his species rarely did. He watched humans walk freely, unaware of how close they had come to extinction. "You fight differently," Vaylor said to Ward. "Not for glory, Ward looked at the horizon. We fight so others don't have to. The vigil of Earth was eventually repaired. Its name became legend, but humans did not build statues of it. They built fleets, not to rule the galaxy, but to ensure no devourer, pirate, or empire would ever again see humanity as easy prey. In the quiet years that followed, the galaxy remembered. The moment everything changed, not when humans spoke, not when they threatened, but when they stood alone in the dark, took the first hit, adapted, and refused to fall. That was the day the galaxy learned the truth. Humans were not late to the stars. They arrived exactly when they were needed.